TV, which is a cool medium. But now I think that's kind of outdated now, because you got to do everything at once. So you just gotta be the best person you can be. And mainly, I'm still mainly a radio guy. You know, even though the camera's in there, because I still get most of my most of my audience still comes, I think, out of terrestrial radio. But I think every month, every week, it goes down. And it's not that radio is losing its grip. It's just that there's so many other ways to deliver it. And you know, I know there's, audio is one of the buzzwords right now, but it is true. You know, there isn't that much difference between my TV persona and my radio persona. It's just maybe sometimes I would just go, I'll put up my arms or something, or if I'm listening to Nancy Pelosi, you know, I'll do something I used to do sometimes on TV and get in trouble when I was in local TV. You know, I mean, people don't want to see that on a local broadcast, but they didn't 30 years ago. But now, now I can get away with it, and so I think it's giving people more freedom. And I would suggest, you can talk to this, Jared, but when you have a TV studio, there are ways to monetize it too, right? I mean, it's like we sell the naming rights to the studio to one of our customers, and he said, yeah, okay, well, I'll throw it in, but you guys have to wear my shirts 3 days a week. So Grace and I have to be sure that 3 out of 5 days.
Was that when you wear that polo?
Yeah.
That's why that's fun.
Yeah, and we had to switch, and then the mic's on the wrong side. It's on the left side. So the guy had the shirts all made over again, so the logo's on the right side. But that's just stuff you just gotta adjust for life.
Is the car that drives plus?
That's what they say. Plus it's got a bomb in it.
I do have to say that you do a great job, and I disagree with everything you just said. I hate video. I hate video in the studio.
How did you get on this panel?
Right, exactly. I'm on this panel because of that. So, like, I got off Facebook. I got off Facebook because it didn't provide me the way I wanted to enjoy video and photo sources. I'm on Instagram, right? And I participate with Twitter as a news service. We need to create content for people where they're consuming it. And the idea that you can just flip on a camera, and you're lucky in that most of the radio people I know are not nearly as attractive as you and your show. So you lucked out.
And I have a TV background too.
Right. But I get frustrated when people come into the radio station and they go, oh, we're doing this TV broadcast, we'll just give you the audio and put it on the radio. And I go, you can't just do that. Like, teasing and formatics, and we gotta build an audience and tell a story. Like, we get frustrated when people treat our medium as something you can just do. Like when people go, oh, I was on TV, I can just be on radio. And you go, like, just because you can swing a golf club doesn't mean you can swing a baseball bat. I know it feels like the same muscles, but it's not. And like, but for us to do that to somebody else, where we go, oh, we'll just flip on a camera. Okay, like, I don't have nearly the luxury. Like, your studio is gorgeous. Putting on 4 cameras, a friend of mine just started his morning show in Seattle, and I talked to him just before this panel. They leave, and he cuts up the video. The morning host on 4-person morning show, he leaves, and he's doing the editing. I don't have people. I don't have a guy. And I know that we say the word just in front of a complex sentence. We'll just shoot video. But I still need someone to edit that, produce it, pull the content, push it, think of where they're pushing it, schedule it, and do it. And in a time where I'm collapsing jobs, I would love to add a person in the studio, but the idea that we can just do that, we'll just make video in the studio, is an unrealistic goal. We do a Facebook Live and they crush, because we're producing content for Facebook. We're sitting there, we're talking to Facebook, we're interacting with the comments section, and it's a behind the scenes look because we're creating content on a video platform for a specific person. The idea of us taking a phone call, like, what we're interviewing Gorka, and this is the video you see. And then what happened? Interesting. Like, what are we watching? I need somebody to put up a photo of Gorka, and I need somebody to cut it. You can't, half of us is talking to callers and the host's sitting there listening to someone who's not even on camera. We can't just put cameras in the studio and solve the problem. Sorry, I don't know I'm on this panel either.
He needs video. He needs video. Wow.
It's true. It's true.
I love it.
Jared, you just got into this a little bit, but let's talk about audio perception a little. Audience perception a little bit of audio versus video. You know, is there an is there an expectation for this? Do people come? Are people coming to radio stations expecting the video? Is it, you know, sort of a value-added type situation? Art, we'll start with you and work on the panel.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it is a value-added thing, and we all should be creating video content. We should all be creating podcasts, and I've watched people talking about podcasts up here, and again, we confuse time-shifted listening with podcasts. Like a podcast is something that you created for someone to consume on their phone, in their car, in a different way that they consume things. And if we all start providing video, there will be an expectation that follows that everyone expects radio stations to have video. But I think at the moment, and actually, if I could complain about video one more time, my biggest problem with video in the studio is that the difference between a great pitcher and an amazing pitcher is 3 miles an hour on their fastball. And like, if you care about 1,000 streamers when there's 30,000 people listening, just a tiny bit, it's the same reason that we've trained our guys to get off Twitter during the show, on Twitter during the commercial breaks. You get one tweet and you start going, if this isn't funny, stop doing it. It can't not take just a mile an hour off your fastball. And like, my direct competitor is another radio station, and if they're pitching it, you know, 97 miles an hour, and we slow down to 94 because we cared about 1,000 people or 2,000 people on a live stream, like, then we lose. And like, so I think that we should consider that.
But don't you think more people are getting it every day through social media? The age is creeping up too, on the people getting it through social media. So, you know, if somebody listens to you on the air and they just get home and they're used to either you know, going on the computer or going on this thing, I mean, they're gonna want to see you on the radio.
And
so this is just I mean, you know, and I know you can't create in my, you know, even in the nice studio like I have with the 4 cameras, you can't create like a TV show. But you're giving radio listeners who you might lose otherwise a chance to see a different aspect of it. That's what I'm trying to do.
The thing you're competing with are people that are making slickly produced Vox videos with graphics packages. Like, think about what's on your Instagram feed that makes you, like, the 2-finger text, right? Scroll, stop. It's a well-produced thing with motion graphics and what, like, the idea of just me on a camera in a single shot, like doing talk radio, like, yes, it's easier to push and it's better content than just putting out like an audio clip with a static image, which we should not do either. But just to think that what we do can be repurposed into, there's a reason someone's on Snapchat, there's a reason they're on Instagram, there's a reason they're on Facebook, and they want to consume their video, or they want to consume their whatever, how they want to consume it. The idea that we can take our thing, it's not flexible enough to just shoehorn it in, I feel. But again, we should be making lots of video content, we should be making lots of ways to touch people, just not the easy solution, which is flip on a camera and roll on this.
So Art, how do you create that balance? I mean, to me, it's sort of like the modern day equivalent of, you know, you finally get to see what your favorite DJ looked like or your favorite talk show host looked like years ago when all of a sudden this thing called the internet came along and it wasn't just a voice coming out of your radio. How do you create the balance between what Jared's talking about and what Howie's talking about?
Well, I've got to say 3 quick things. I remember that in 1984, I brought a camera into the Bob and Tom studio at WFPQ in Indianapolis, and I shot more video then than anybody, and it wound up finally catching the attention of Sean Compton with WGN America and Tribune Media. They put the show nationally on TV with highlights from the radio show. Today, there are 6, sorry, that's 2 more than you have, Howie, 6 high-definition cameras in their studio in Indianapolis. They switch it live.
I wish I had 8.
Yeah, it's really great. And now, like when Christy Lee, for example, is doing her news reports, right behind her is a sign for a Navy, Navy Credit Union or something. They sold it.
But actually, but on that though, like,
but
for Howie, who's the studio sponsor for you?
Matthews Brothers.
Matthews Brothers.
Well, yeah, you can
Windows and
you
doors.
can show the logos and
But
things.
2,000, 5,000, 100,000 people streaming your show. If they don't live in Boston, they're not buying Matthews Brothers anything. So like, the monetization has to be a national player.
Well, it does. It has to be national.
Like if I say that the thing that makes us work is we say buy Matthews Brothers windows, and people do it. It's an amazing medium. But if we're doing that to a guy that lives in Poughkeepsie, like, Who cares?
I
Well,
understand.
we have national advertisers too.
Yeah, but I mean,
Like
but that's
Butcher
not-
Box Meat comes in once a month, and
No,
they bring in food for our VIPs and everything, and they're doing pretty well.
95% of our advertisers are local-based businesses, and when we tell them to do it, our audience doesn't. They listen and they activate. And a guy, and this is the other thing with even like streaming, like, oh, like right now, we're about to eclipse, we have more streamers than we have over-the-air listeners. Well, what can I do with 300,000 people streaming the radio station that live all over the country?
Right.
I can't monetize that the same way.
But you have to try to do it, Jared, because otherwise, you're not gonna survive
But
long term.
I think I think we're talking about the same thing. I'm saying create content, create stream, like we are streaming and we're producing it, but don't think of it as just, let's put a camera and just create this content and repurpose it, because it can't be.
Gentlemen, believe it or not, we're down to like our last 3 minutes here.
I know, and I want to get two more quick things, because I know the only thing between you guys and lunch is us, and working fast.
I was just gonna say, I wanted to give each of you an opportunity for a final thought, so you go first.
Real quick, I just want to say that here in New York, when Joey Reynolds was doing a show on WABC on Sunday nights, it was a damn TV show on radio, and it was really, really entertaining. I put it up on my big screen TV through the internet, and it looked fantastic, and it was wonderful. The other thing is, I wanted to make mention that in Grand Rapids, Michigan, another syndicated morning show called Free Beer and Hot Wings, their engineers actually figured out a way, and I don't know when they're all talking at once what happens, but whoever's microphone is being talked into, that camera automatically goes on. So they don't even need anybody switching the thing live. They actually, it does it automatically. The minute he talks to the microphone, his camera goes on. And they have all LED lights in the studio, so it's not hot. And it's great, and it looks wonderful, and it's really professional.
Howie?
This morning, they gave the award to Cousin Brucey, and all of us who were from the East Coast of a certain age, we were all amazed and astounded to see Cousin Brucey, because everybody listened to him at night when we were kids. Who listens to radio at night now? You know, I mean, I will do anything I can to get people to consume my product, whether it has to be a podcast, social media. You know, someone tweets in to me and says they put up a new kind of podcast. Can you get it on? We'll have it on within 2 days. I will do anything I can to keep the audience engaged. And you know, I understand what you're saying, Jared, from an intellectual point of view, but I just think that, you know, we have to adjust to the new technology and the changes in the technology.
You are right.
And that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what my studio is all about. And you know, I came up on AM radio, and it's really been a struggle, and it's less of a struggle now. That's all I can say.
And to close, I would say that, again, my dislike of video is real-time video of your show. If everybody took 30 minutes after their show to create a video specifically targeted for things, with the same camera switching in the same studio, and push that as a side product, it would be immensely helpful. A recap thing, if one listener decides to, with a meter, decides to stream the video instead of listen over the air, the show's done. But there's not enough meters to I mean, I know there are not enough meters here. If one person starts watching it instead of listening to it, that is enough to blow the ratings apart, and I don't think it's worth the risk. We should all be creating video. I just don't know. I hate real-time video of what's happening in the studio.
Gentlemen, thank you all for
Thanks, Jared.
Yay!
joining us.
Bring back WC.